What's going on, everybody? It's your host, Dr. Splash. I've been really busy lately, and I didn't get to the first drop of DCKO right when it came out Wednesday. However, got to it today, just read it, fucking crazy, okay? Lock in if you're here for a wild story. Everything's changing in DC. This so far is living up to the hype. I'm excited to review issue 1. If you love content like this, if you want to see me regularly cover comic book drops when they're hot, let me know in the comment section down below and let me know with that like button. But with that out the way, let's go ahead and get into what happened in issue 1. Also, at the end, I'll briefly touch on what apparently is going down that was just announced by the writers. Now, first of all, art's fucking sick, okay? And we find out that Superman is reviewing like what's gonna happen. He's fought everything. He's fought gods, titans, everything in between. And this all doesn't seem to really matter because at this point, Superman's acknowledging he still feels like this event is different than anything he has seen before. He actually, his weapon is like mini sun knuckle dusters. He created those apparently after he came back from his initial death to Doomsday. He, I guess, built them in anticipation of perhaps facing something like Doomsday. Again, he could call upon them to cook them. However, never fucking used them. Don't know why he made them and never used them, but that's a conversation for a different day. That's comic books, baby. But he realizes everything's going to be fucking crazy as right off the bat, can we acknowledge this art goes stupid? Like, I know I said the art is sick at the beginning. That was the spread page, but I mean in the literal sense, like the art in this run is out of this world. Now, we pan over to something that kind of humanizes the Justice League. It makes us really appreciate who they are on a personal level. We see Batman, or in this instance, Bruce, Clark, and Diana and them playing board games. This is a board game Batman made. Apparently, he's a fucking D&D guy. Shout out to Big Batman for moving like that. I'm a D&D guy as well. Actually, shameless plug, I've been working on a Star Wars one. We just launched a pilot episode a few days ago. If you love D&D, you want to come join my Discord and join us on our Star Wars campaign, definitely hit me up. But anyways, back on topic. He played this game because he loves to play games, and more importantly, he loves to win. And they talk about how Clark hates to play games where not everybody wins. Why? Because he's a bitch. I've come around to liking Superman over the years. Used to hate him because of moments like this, right? He wants everybody to win on some Boy Scout shit. Shut up, all right? You got to be a dog sometimes, Superman. Sometimes you got to lock the fuck in. And that's what we're going to see throughout this comic. It's also implied, interesting enough, that while they're doing the board game, as I mentioned, it's kind of like implied Batman loves to win and cooks Superman in games often. It's also implied like Wonder Woman gets dubs too. Like she was about to potentially win in this moment. When they are interrupted, they see a bright fucking light outside. Wonder Woman's like, yo, what's going on outside? Why is it a disco club? And they look out to see Darkseid. But this is not just any Darkseid. This is a Darkseid I spoke on recently in my strongest characters in DC Comics, as well as I scaled him. This is the most broken form of Darkseid we have ever seen. It's not just the strongest form, it's the most evolved form. And as Superman's racing out there, he realizes everything, literally everything, is becoming Darkseid passively. Insane. And Darkseid in that moment we see he's beyond physics. Like none of that shit applies to him. So he's across creation at one time. He's fighting everywhere from Gotham to the Rock of Eternity to all that. None of the magic, none of the sorcery, none of the powers, none of the motions, none of that shit matters. Categorically, Omega Darkseid is now above that. And they all are getting cooked. They all are falling one by one. And as Superman races towards him, he stops because in that moment, he hears a sound and feels something he's never heard or felt before. And that is all things becoming Darkseid at once. And it fucks him up. He's like, yo, what are we dealing with? It cuts away from this apocalyptic event to see that they were reviewing what is going to happen in the future. You see World Forger, Time Trapper, in this little chrono-temporal group they got going on, they don't have the capability of stopping this dark side for as strong as they are. And if you guys haven't seen my video, I do have a couple of these characters in my top 10 in DC. They can't stop current Darkseid, which just speaks to how strong he's gotten. All they've been able to do is rewind time and the main time stream by a week in order to stop this inevitable Darkseid from occurring. However, this is a problem because it occurs no matter what. They've seen the Green Lantern try everything possible, Superman try everything possible, Batman, all these characters. They still can't beat this Darkseid. He truly is inevitable. Darkseid is. There's only one way they have really figured out how to go around this, how to get around the problem that is Darkseid. They want to reboot continuity to avoid Darkseid entirety. They're like, fuck that, we can't do anything to win. We have to use our chrono energy. We have to use energies that predate creation to essentially reboot a timeline and just go for a separate existence. Essentially what they are trying to do has only been done once before in DC. And if you remember, because it wasn't the greatest of time for DC fans, that would be New 52. Now, it's risky referencing an event like that wasn't that popular, but I will die on the hill that if New 52 had been done properly, it could have done very well. Some of those storylines were very fun, so I stand by that. It could have been pretty good, but not everything is done correctly, and unfortunately, New 52 failed. However, again, in terms of how the cosmos would work, it's kind of like that. A bigger main reality existing outside the others, sort of like a New 52 deal. You see, there's two energies that dictate creation in its entirety. This is DC kind of hammering down two big dog energies, right? We used to deal with the life equation, anti-life equation. We seem to move on to something much bigger, much supreme. There is the alpha and the omega, with one of the forces, the alpha, being that of creation. This is what sparks everything throughout creation. Sparks stories, sparks narratives, sparks timelines, multiverses, all these things. Gods, everything in between. You have the opposite to this. You have the omega. This is destruction. This is conquering. This is complete takeover. That is what powers Darkseid. It powered Apocalypse, the only planet that's not created by the Alpha. The Omega Force, Darkseid became its champion and became so empowered by it and so strong in it that he created his absolute universe and became absolute one with the Omega Force, becoming the living embodiment of conquest itself, his true purpose, which passively changes, warps, and creates everything to be like Darkseid around him. Now, the only way they can really fight this, right, outside of creating their own timeline, is they have to challenge the heart of the Omega Force, right? This is the heart that gives Darkseid his power. For when he disappeared, he put that heart in Earth. That way he could come back and cook, all right? Big Darkseid. He's the big fucking Darkseid, okay? Like, it doesn't get more raw than Darkseid in his bag. This is what's producing such a fucking crazy story like this. And when you hear what I'm talking about at the end, you're gonna be like, holy shit, that's even crazier than expected. Now, they're saying, okay, look, we can restart the heart and challenge it for a new champion, and that new champion will get enough power to be able to challenge this form of Darkseid. And they say, look, Booster Gold hung out with Darkseid for a long ass time. He was fucking stuck there. So he actually has a ton of Omega Force on him because he was with Darkseid. He is the one that can shock this heart and restart it with his energy. And they asked him that, and Booster Gold, who, mind you, is usually a jokester. Like, usually he's playing around, usually it's pranks, it's not that serious. He's like, guys, you don't get it. This shit gets wicked. This shit is spicy. This shit is not as simple as you think. That kind of hints at this event's already fucked before it's begun. Now, they must become the rival to the concept of Darkseid by defeating the heart and becoming the ultimate conquerors. Now, this is a little problematic because that's not inherently how the heroes operate. for the burden of completing this mission. In comparison, majority of the superheroes are soft as fuck. They're not natural dominators. They're not natural conquerors. So this immediately poses a problem. Because if you get enough power, if you beat Darkseid, you're going to be able to reshape creation to whatever you want. It would be kind of like rebooting the Marvel Cosmos. Sort of like when Reed used Molecule Man to do that. You would be like Molecule Man. You'd be reshaping the cosmos. So to have that power to do that, you want a certain person in the position to do that. You don't want everybody having that fucking power. Okay, not everybody can have that kind of sauce. So immediately we have that issue put to the forefront mentally. And this is crazy too, because we see Booster Gold, a literal time traveler, basically has seen everything from Superman to Darkseid to fucking things inspired by the Great Darkness. He's seen it all. He said, look, I was in that absolute bullshit for years. I've never seen something like Darkseid. He was like, there's nothing like this current Darkseid. There's nothing that can beat this current Darkseid. He said, hypothetically, the only way we could beat this Darkseid is by using something literally like him. I can't think of anything else. Now, we don't usually take Booster Gold serious, but a statement like that from someone that's seen the shit he has seen, Mr. Witnessed it all, that's crazy. That's just a crazy fucking statement. And at this point, Clark's like, yo, I'm not trying to do this shit. This shit sounds fucking crazy. Granted, I usually disagree with Superman. This does sound kind of crazy. If they pull up on you and tell you got to do some fucking Mortal Kombat style tournament to become like Darkseid, to beat Darkseid, I'd be like, yo, fuck off. This is crazy. But we got to remember, Clark's seen the future. We lived through that vision with him. And when Clark is talking to them and they're convincing him like, yo, Clark, we got to do this. We don't have a choice. Like, you got to lock in and roll out with us because this tournament's the only way we have a chance to stop Darkseid. There is no feelings when it comes to this. We just got to get it done. In that moment, Clark is thinking of that future where the moment he stopped because everything became Darkseid. That moment, that concept of that moment being a real thing that's going to happen, it absolutely had Clark shook. He genuinely, and he's experienced a lot of fuck shit. He had never experienced anything like that moment. Now, we move on to the chapter 2 of this initial drop, where they have 7 days to prepare for this tournament. The Time Crew that I spoke on, World Forger, Time Trapper, Doomsday, all of them, they will use their powers to temporarily hold off Darkseid's ascent to where they are, that moment in time, in order for the champions to challenge the heart and eventually take its power. Now, at this point, we see the 7-day countdown begin. And this is crazy. At one point early on in the sequence of days, Mr. Terrific rigs different T-spheres, sends them out, and the heroes arrest essentially every single villain that they would consider a threat should they enter the tournament and potentially win. We see characters like Lex, Joker taken off the board. They're like, yeah, we can't let these motherfuckers run around and potentially get... Imagine if Joker or Lex became God, essentially presence, could rewrite the cosmos. You don't want that. You don't want that. So they're like, yo, we gotta take them off the fucking board. People are gonna accuse us of being fascist, basically. Like, we're ultimate authority. Everyone's being taken by their will. But the heroes don't feel they have any choice at this moment. Let me know in the comments. There's a lot of talk about with this first comic, but let me know in the comments if you think the heroes were right or wrong in doing this. Would you protest? Or would you say they were right? Let me know. Day 5, real important day. That's the day they all fucking lock in, right? That shows us briefly some of the heroes going to prepare for the tournament, going to their war bunkers and really deciding what they're going to bring. We saw earlier Clark had some shit. We see Cyborg getting some shit. No one cares about Cyborg, but since they're showing Cyborg, maybe he'll do something. Wonder Woman gets her God armor. Batman gets his Justice Buster 2.0. Shit's real. They're getting ready. And that's when we get to chapter 3. This is where they restart the heart. And in that moment, in the restarting of the heart, they all see, everybody involved sees what would happen if they won. For example, it mentions Specifically, like if Blue Beetle won, he sees what the universe would be if it all reshaped to him. All this they see, and then it fades to darkness, and the tournament officially begins. Now, they essentially enter this massive battle arena where they have to cross the finish line into a portal, and the first 32 to do so are the champions. Now, there's these massive titans like guarding this that they have to fight, and Superman immediately rocks the shit out of one of them. Rocks the shit, and he's talking shit. He's like, yo, y'all are like these big torture titans. Y'all are always picking on people. Fuck y'all. I'm Big Superman. And he gets his shit rocked. Gets his shit rocked for playing the moral high ground. And Batman goes, yo, Superman, this is not a situation where we brag about being good people or do good people shit. You need to fucking win. Focus on winning. Clark's like, yeah, you're right. Like, I gotta focus on the damn game. Now, leave it up to a Flash or a member of the Flash family to fuck everything up. They're trying to literally speed run the game. They're like, fuck that. I'm doing the race. I'm gonna win this shit before anyone knows. Jay Garrick sets off traps. This brings forth like the ultimate concept of parademons. These are parademons from the end of all times. These are parademons when Darkseid's power is absolute. These are Omega demons. They pull up problems. They're fading everybody. Like, they're fucking people up. Like, these things show up and they're putting in work as everyone's like, shit, we gotta send these things back to hell. This is crazy. And at that point, like I mentioned, the villains have been rounded up before, so the heroes are under the impression this entrance to the tournament is just them. Well, to their horror, as Superman's fighting everything, right? Like, he's holding shit off, letting his friends get through. Because it's Superman. At the end of the day, when he has to, he can make a play and get into the tournament. He knows that. So he's trying to be Superman. He's trying to help the others. He's like, where's Batman? Batman's right by his side. That's when he appears. And he's like, yo, Superman, you keep doing this fucking stupid Superman Boy Scout bullshit. Lock in. And that's when we see Batman get stabbed from behind. And it was the Joker, as Joker says, I guess Batman doesn't win every time. And before Batman dies, he tells Superman, yo, fucking please, for the love of God, listen to what I said and win this goddamn tournament so you can reshape creation. And because obviously, guys, if you win and you become God, you can just reboot everything to what you want it to be. That's why you want the heroes to win. They can, even if they got to kill their homies in this tournament, if they win, they can bring their homies back. That's why you got to understand the importance of winning, which in that moment, Superman realizes that. In a hard body, nothing's more hard body than enraged Superman, right? They start talking about everything they witness in that moment. Joker, the villains are back. Other characters are making it through. And Superman's pissed because Lex gives him a look. Like that look like, hey, it's cool that you're a nice guy. Go help an old lady cross the road. Go fucking save a squirrel in the tree. Save this tough guy shit for the real tough guys. That's the look he gives Superman. That's the look I would have given Superman. And in that moment, nothing there understands what hits them. Like, they just get blown by. They don't know what the fuck it was. They're like, what is that? Like, all the demons, everything. They're like, yo, what the hell was that? Superman breaks it through to take the last spot. It was him. Like, enraged Superman, you can't fuck with. You just can't. I'll be the first to admit it. I hate on him. But when he's locked in, when he's pissed, you can't fuck with it. He just saw his boy Batman die. He's locked in now. Shit's getting spooky. The Omega Challengers, all 32 are set. It's an interesting cast of characters. As now we know, this is the kind of game you got to truly have that conqueror mindset. You got to be willing to win no matter what. So it's looking real interesting on who could actually win this tournament. My mind's starting to change a lot on who will actually win. And I want to see who you guys think will win in the comment section down below. And then we see the heart. The heart speak directly to the reader. As it says, yo, Darkseid's coming. This shit's fucked. You're going to see the craziest of tournaments. You don't understand what you're even seeing right now. And they said, yo, and I'm going to tell you this, no one really wins. Darkseid has some real steppers waiting. They come from the absolute universe. You can see the preview too. There's clearly Batman there. There's clearly Superman there. Oh, we get to see the absolute characters clash with mainline. That shit's going to be fucking dope. And it's revealed there is one last champion among them. And it is shown that Darkseid himself is hiding among the heroes. He is one of them waiting to make a play. Apparently, Darkseid has an inside fucking guy that's himself present here. And he's going to fuck up the whole tournament. And we see, obviously, as they kind of go against some of the previews, they kind of throw you a little curveball. Joker has replaced Batman. He is now in the tournament, taking the place of Batman as Batman perished before the 32-round tournament set in. But anyways, guys, let me know what you think in the comment section down below. Who do you think is going to win the KO tournament? What did you think of this large debut comic? I know this video is a little long in reviewing the first of the comics, or the first of DC KO, but it was a pretty big issue, and this shit was crazy. Let me know if you enjoyed this coverage. If you want me to continue coverage like this on latest comic drops, I will absolutely get back to it, because I do enjoy it a lot, if you can't already tell. But yeah. Oh, let me mention this too. They just leaked that pocket dimensions are used for characters to train. This will include crossovers, including with Sub-Zero, Annabelle, Homelander, and more. Homelander fans are about to be insufferable with the scaling jump they're getting. But that's a pretty crazy announcement they're making for a canon DC storyline. I also want to know what you guys think of that. But yeah, that's all I have to say. Thank you so much for watching. And remember, it's Yancey Street, bitches.